Well everyone, it's time for us to go and take a look at the Samsung Galaxy S24 FE and compare it against the iPhone 12 and see which particular phone is the better one for you. Now, in almost every single way I can imagine, I kind of do think the S24 FE is the better device. You know, if you're not coming from an iOS Android standpoint, then I definitely say the S24 is the S24 FE is the quote unquote like better phone. But the thing you're going to have to kind of keep in mind here is that with something like the iPhone 12, this is a cheaper device and it could be a better value per dollar for some people as well. So kind of just keep that in mind when it comes down to that perspective. Now, beyond all those things, the S24 FE iPhone 12, if you want to pick up either one of these devices, links will be down in the description. You can get them from there for the cheapest prices I find, and you can help support the channel at the exact same time. Now, starting off with the outside of both these particular devices. The iPhone 12, which came out back in 2024, which came out back in 2020 on the front side of this phone, is giving you a 6.1-inch Super Retina XDR OLED display. And the thing I like about this type of panel is that it is a very good looking device, right? I definitely do think if it's a phone that you're going to want to buy, I think it's a very good device. And for the most part, if you're going to go through and buy a phone, it's a good looking device. The only a few things to kind of keep in mind here. Number one, this type of panel definitely isn't the brightest. So it is a way older type of, it's an older type of technology when it kind of comes down to it. On top of that, for the most part as well, if you're looking at both these types of devices, I mean, it definitely isn't the, sharpest looking panel either. And also another big thing is that it's only 60 Hertz. So those are some pretty big downsides, I would kind of say, with this type of panel. Now with the Samsung Galaxy S24 FE on the other hand, this is a bigger sized panel, so it's 6.7 inches. It's a dynamic AMOLED display, so that right there could be a pretty big deal for some people depending on which way you look at it. But also, it is a 120 Hertz panel. It gets brighter than the iPhone 12. It's also, 120 Hertz. Those types of things are really big deals, and personally for me, if I'm going to go through and pick up a device, that is without a doubt a really, really big deal for me. So personally for me, I'm a really, really big fan of that, and I really do like being able to go through and pick up a panel and buy a phone like the S24 FE that looks significantly better than the iPhone 12. Now beyond that, not really too many other things to hit on here with the front side. The iPhone 12 is basically giving you a lightning port at the bottom. The Galaxy S24 FE is giving you a standard USB Type-C port, which is a really nice port to have. I love having USB Type-C way more than Lightning, and I'm so glad that that type of phone has it. On the backside, you're getting standard glass backs on both these types of phones. So once again, being able to go through and buy a phone on both of these that are going to be giving you those standard glass backs is a very nice thing to have. And I do think once again, this in and of itself is a super, super cool asset for these types of phones as well. Triple camera setup on the backside of the S24 FE, dual camera setup on the iPhone 12. And beyond that, there's not really anything else super insane going on here. They both look very, very nice. And I really am a big fan of both these types of panels when they kind of come down to it. It just so happens that the S24 FE, in pretty much every single way you can imagine, is going to be a better looking device with a way sharper panel and everything like that than the iPhone 12. So just kind of keep that in mind when it kind of comes down to it. Beyond that, when it comes down to a price tag side, the iPhone 12 is also probably going to be a significantly cheaper phone than the Galaxy S24 FE. So if you are wanting the phone that's going to be cheaper here, the S24 FE is going to be, a more expensive phone than the iPhone 12. So the iPhone 12 right now basically is going to be costing you less than $300, probably closer to $200 as of this point. The S24 FE on the other hand is probably going to be costing you $650 right now. So once again, kind of keep that in mind when it kind of comes down to it from that side as well. Beyond that, if we're going to be looking at both these phones, another very big thing to keep in mind here are the cameras. The iPhone 12 is giving you that dual camera setup, a wide and ultra wide camera, where the Galaxy S24 FE is basically going to be giving you a wide, ultra wide and telephoto lens. So this right there is a very, very big deal. And if you're going to be looking at these types of devices, definitely something like the Samsung Galaxy S24 FE's camera is good. It's great. I think it does a really good job, but definitely the iPhone 12's camera is probably still going to be okay. But having 8K capability on the back of the Galaxy S24 FE, I think is a massive asset. Being able to go through and buy one of those types of phones that are going to be giving you that type of capability, I am a massive, massive fan of, and I do think this in and of itself is a really big asset once again for that type of device. So once again, kind of keep that in mind when it comes down to it from that perspective as well. Now on top of that, another very big thing you're going to have to keep in mind here too is that when it comes down to the whole entire software longevity of both these phones, I will probably tell you that the iPhone 12 is pretty much not going to last as long as the Galaxy S24 FE. The S24 FE is pretty much just getting started with software updates. So this right there is a pretty big asset, I would say, for something like the S24 FE. That phone is just getting started, and when you're looking at these types of phones, you're pretty much going to be getting a phone on the S24 FE that is going to be the longer lasting one here. I think with something like the iPhone 12, this type of device still is going to be supported with software for the next couple of software updates. So I would probably say the iPhone 12 is still probably going to be here maybe for like another 2 years. I would say like 3 years maybe. So it's probably going to get iOS 19 and maybe it'll end off with iOS 20, but it's still going to finish off with all the iOS 18 updates. So you're still getting, updates when it comes down to that perspective as well. So I do think, again, from that perspective, that right there is a very big thing going on for that type of phone too. But if I'm looking at both these devices, if I'm comparing them side by side, I think a really big thing to keep in mind here is the fact that with something like the iPhone 12, this is going to be a device that is probably going to be the better looking. It's going to be it's still going to be lasting for a couple of years, but the Samsung Galaxy S24 FE is going to be the one that's probably going to actually be the longer lasting one here when it comes down to it. Now, on top of that, another very big thing to keep in mind here are the batteries. The iPhone 12 is giving you a 2,815 mAh battery, where the Galaxy S24 FE is giving you a 4,700 mAh battery. So I do think from that side as well, the S24 FE is going to be giving us really good battery, better battery life than the iPhone 12. So if you are wanting the phone that's going to be the better one here, it pretty much in every single way is going to be the Samsung Galaxy S24 FE. It's going to be a better type of battery, better type of performing battery in every single way you can imagine. But the iPhone 12 is still okay, but even from recent battery tests I've done, the Galaxy S24 FE is definitely the better one that I can imagine. On top of those things, when it comes down to the performance side, the iPhone 12 is giving you that Apple A14 Bionic chip inside of it with 4GB of RAM, where the Samsung Galaxy S24 FE is basically giving you the Snapdragon Exynos chipset inside of one of the two with 8GB of RAM. So from this side as well, this is another very big difference. Being able to go through and buy a phone like the Samsung Galaxy S24 FE that's going to be giving you that amount of RAM, it's a very good performing device, very good chipset, and I do think this in and of itself is a very nice thing going on for that phone too. But I would probably say that with something like the iPhone 12, this is also still a very good performing device, and I'm still a fan of the iPhone 12 as well, but the Galaxy S24 FE is definitely by far the one I can imagine as probably being the better one for the everyday app. The iPhone 12 is a very good phone, but the S24 FE is way faster and way better. So to kind of sum up this whole entire video, what I can definitely tell you is that when it comes down to both these phones, the S24 FE is probably the one that is probably the overall better one for the average person. You're getting more flagship features, more flagship experiences, and I do think that's the one that I like the most. But I think with something like the iPhone 12, this is still a very good device that's still going to be very good for a lot of people. And for a cheaper phone, I think it is still a really good option. But like I said, I think if you're trying to get a phone that's going to be the better one here for the majority of people, I think the S24 FE is probably the one. If you have the most money in the world, get that one. But if you have the most money, just go for something like an iPhone 16 Pro Max or Galaxy S24 Ultra from that point. So from that side, that kind of covers it up there. If you have any other thoughts or questions, please let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that will mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.